Up and at 'em. Unless you're in another time zone, your day's half done. What have you done with your day? It's an all-new 20 minutes of coffee, says the thumbnail, because I haven't selected a specific topic yet for this episode. It might just be, how do we survive all this? Hey, everybody, it's 20 minutes of coffee live for channel members. Channel members like the real McCoy. Saying good morning. It's a good morning for real McCoy. Michael McCarcel. We call him Detective McCarcel. He's live with us here. He says, I can actually join regularly this semester. Don't overlook your studies, Michael. 20 minutes of coffee is not worth flunking out of school. You're in higher education. You'll be all right. Laserbolt Videos is here. Laserbolt says good morning. And it is a good morning if you're a Detroit Lions fan. You got a big weekend ahead. I know I always said Tampa Bay, which is an old SNL sketch with Bob Costas and Jimmy Smits, I think. I know Tampa Bay looks good, but I'm all Lions right now. I watched a very emotional episode of Hard Knocks last night from Tuesday, the Miami Dolphins in season. I really think Hard Knocks, I hadn't watched it in years because, again, I hadn't watched a lot of football in years. But I liked the year the Dolphins were on it. Joe Philbin was the coach. They like live. It was weird. They cut Chad Johnson live on the show. It was weird. But the training camp ones are okay. The in-season ones, spectacular. Man, if you're not a Miami Dolphin fan, maybe you hated it. But HBO's Hard Knocks in-season Miami Dolphins was one of my favorite things I watched. I can't miss television for me, which is rare these days. And I cried. I'll tell you right now, I cried. David McKay's here. I've done a full day's worth of work, he says. Well, good for you. Tell me how to do it. After this, I got to do some work. This is work. This is fun. This is hanging out. I count it as work. Just to make myself feel better. Anyways, I cried. Mike McDaniel gave a little speech in the locker room. His nose all, red from the cold, tears. It was emotional. It's emotional. You guys heard me talk on Tuesday about how I'm approaching the offseason for not just the Dolphins, but my life. So I think that got me too. But anyways, I'm all in on the Detroit Lions. They're my team right now. Detroit Lions. In honor of one of my favorite players of all time, Barry Sanders, I'm all in honor of Lauren Romo and our good buddy Laserbolt watching right now. Laserbolt, I was going to ask you, is there a flight simulator game for like the PS5? I don't want to sit there at the PC here and do it. I want to play like PlayStation 5, maybe 4. I can whatever, both of them. I want to learn to fly, but not in real life, in fake life. Michael McCarcel says my first class ends 45 minutes before my other class is an hour after. Look at this. You're going to be all right. This is, looking for a theme today. One of the themes will be helping others, and I'm going to highlight that right now. But first, I got to switch something here on the back end. All right, here you go. I'm going to highlight a GoFundMe here right now. This is for a friend. I'm going to tweet this out here later today. I didn't know this was going on until today. Because why? Social media is fractured. Social media is fractured. Not social media is bad and tearing us apart. It probably is and has been for a long time. But social media is fractured, meaning you don't know who's working what app. You don't know who's receiving your message. And so I have a friend in need. I can share a GoFundMe here right now. And it sucks. I know it's GoFundMe's been going for a day or so. Natalie's here, four-center listener, also here. Never catch us live. Usually making or eating dinner. Making dinner, but listening while I cook today. Look, making dinner. Maddie Gunner's here as well. I appreciate all you channel members hanging out with us. This is a GoFundMe for my friend Claudia Dolph. If you follow the movie Trivia Schmodown, you might have seen her play a few times. She's been in town for a number of years. Dallas Cowboy fan. We won't hold that against her here, but Dallas Cowboy fan. And she needs some help. She's a great dancer and actor, sketch comic. It's where I first met her. She was over at Acme Comedy Club back in the mid-2000s. And she's got a need of spinal surgery. And as you know, my back I'm sitting on not only a large pillow, I've got one of them, like these things. What are these things? I got this it just pressed into my back. That's the only reason I can sit. But she's lost feeling in one of her feet and not looking good. And she has some new medical kicking in February 1st, they're saying here. But she needs this now. And if she doesn't do this now, She'll lose permanent feeling in her foot, and she'll never walk normally again. She'll definitely not dance, which is what she loves doing. So this is something I need to put a link in down below. Maybe that would have helped. But search this out and look for me tweeting this out after the episode here. If you want to just spread the word, whether you want to help or not, or can help. I'm not in much of a position to help with a lot of things in my life right now, but I can get the word out. And this is the good part of the internet, I think. The part that comes together, the part that is able to get these kind of things out. I saw that long ago, saw a tweet, and I've seen several versions of this tweet, but did the creators of GoFundMe realize they were creating the best health insurance around? No. But here in America, that's where we're at. I'm not saying the rest of the world's health insurance or medical systems are perfect. I've heard some of the horror stories too. I get it. I used to use those horror stories against, like universal health care, because I used to be on that side of the argument. I'm not anymore. Not because of anything I felt directly, but because things like that. But this is when I do think the internet and all of us being here together has a lot of power. You don't know, Claudia. You might be able to help. You might be able to get this to someone who helped. And it is a feeling of community that's impossible to get, without it. It's not. We're not all in small towns anymore, where you can go. So and so 4 doors up needs our help. This is our little community here, and so as fractured as social media is, I like having these little community bubbles, right? I like having these. You guys follow me, so you're around this little bubble, and then I know you. I know Maddie Gunner. Too much. I know Maddie Gunner too much. I know Laser Bolt. Never met Laser Bolt in person. When I do, I'm going to give him a big hug. David McKay's been around for so long here hanging out with me. Natalie, coming in from Force Center, here now hanging out. We're all part of this little community here. And that's the power of the internet. And here we are, 2024, and we need it more than ever. Maddie Gunner live in chat. He's a channel member. Says GoFundMe helped one of my best friends after their house burned down. Got them and their newborn son into a new place. Yeah, see, that's great. And because we're all on the brink. It's one of the things I wasn't going to talk about today. I don't want to talk about finances, mine specifically, but I always laugh the system they put us in. So I got one of those paper ads. I got a Ralph's is my local grocery store. Kroger on a lot of like East Coast, it's the same company, Kroger and Ralph's. I don't know why the difference. I don't know why they're like, let's give Kroger to the East Coast, but on the West Coast, let's make it sound like it's their buddy Ralph's grocer. Up to 5% cash back, 3% cash back, 2% cash back, 1% cash back, all the cash backs, no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee. I can take this to Paris. Next day delivery membership. God bless it. Love it. Ralph's reward. I'm not getting choked up. I had Apple Jacks for breakfast, and the Apple Jacks crumbs are in my throat. Welcome to 20 Minutes of Coffee. Ken describes what's stuck there. Oh, don't dox my house. Oh, God, did I just do that? Yeah, I did. You all can find out where I live now. Damn it. Thank you, Dave McKay. I was concerned about that, and then I just went right into it. There you go. Cool. Come kill me. There we go. I'm invited to imply. So I got all this stuff, and I was laughing with a friend. You can always tell when your finances are improving or your credit score, which is just a completely made up thing anyways. Credit scores came in at about 1989 here in America. I don't know about the rest of the world. Maddie Gunner, what's your credit score? You can always tell when your credit score is okay or you're doing it better because you start getting junk mail for, new credit cards. And then when things start going bad, you start getting ads and junk mail for debt consolidation loans, bankruptcy. Do you need help? Looks like you need money. And that's where I've been for the last year or so. No new credit cards for me. Thank God. But I've been getting would you like to consolidate your debt? And then you try it, and it's not. It's a rouge, rouge is for your face, a ruse. But I got that the other day. I thought, things must be looking good. Ralph's wants me to have a Ralph's credit card. I think my credit score is improved enough. Maybe I can get that debt consolidation loan. Then I started getting emails. Hey, we'd like to offer you a new loan opportunity. Hey, remember us? The company that gave you that loan you're still paying off 4 or 5 years ago? Would you like another one? Would you like to buy a monkey? Cabin Boy reference there, everybody. So I yesterday I was like, all right, I do. I'm being buried by credit card interest rates, debt. I can't get out of this. Yeah, let's see what I can do for a debt consolidation loan. I click on the hey, here's your offer button. I click on it, fill out the information, and they're like, oh no, we can't help you. We can't help you. But it's this system, right? It's this system. Hey, looks like you need some credit. You want some credit? Cool. You good. You got that? Oh, looks like you're buried by credit debt. Do you want us to help with that? And then you work, and it's a circle, and it's circle, and it's circle. That's where I feel we're in. Thank you, Michaels. Michael's on the way to pet the dogs. That's where I'm at. I didn't want to go deep into finances today, but there we are. I play this game. Do you play this game every time I turn on the news here? Turn on the news. I always say, what is the story that is the first step to the end of the world? What's the story? And again, we're on CNN.com. I go to a lot of other news sources, but CNN.com is still one of my favorites, but also I like their website. It's easy to navigate. Though that's a lot. Just look at that page. That's a lot. We got the DOJ report blaming all the critical failures by law enforcement leaders for the flawed response at Uvalde. Haven't read that yet. So that's not going to be the end of the world. That was already the end of the world for too many people. And there's a great article, though. I was reading this opinion. The 11-year-old who survived Uvalde says he and his friends will never be the same. Highlights again that the number one killer of children in America is gun violence. So that's not going to end the world. But this, what you need to know about the unprecedented escalation of hostilities between Pakistan and Iran. I'm like, that could be a world ender. That could be an world ender. And I'm laughing because this is like every morning with the news, and it's nothing new, I know. But I'm always looking for that one story that is going to be like, what is the one thing that historians will look back and be like, well, we didn't know it, but that was the confrontation that led to World War III, which led to 12 nuclear missiles being launched from 12 different countries at each other, and the world's over. You know, I was like, what is the one? What is the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand of our time? What is the Germany marches on Poland of this era? What is the shots on Fort Sumter of this era? And it's a sad, tragic game to play. I do want to take a second to just kind of laugh and just move away from some of the crazy news and move away from some of the financial burdens we're all facing. This article over here, infamous 80s hairdo is back on trend. All right. For those of us that were in the 80s, I was a child of the 80s, born in 76, came of age in the 80s, became a man in the 90s. What 80s hairdo do we think is back? The mullet's kind of been back for a bit, so I don't think that's the answer. Unless it's a specific kind of mullet. Try to think of excuse me, big yawn. I have to take a sip of that coffee. How are you all doing? Ooh. It couldn't be it can't be like the really fluffed out, permed, hair blown, hair dried, feathered woman's cut of the mid 80s, right? With like a horrible blue dress, some shoulder pads, perm. David McKay, your question, is that your bet? Is that your bet for like a Golden Girls perm? Because hair is big. I saw this on Twitter last night. They posted the maid from Brady Bunch, right? They posted her picture. And she was like during Brady Bunch, like what, in her 40s or something like that. But she had that, kind of that perm cut of the 70s. And it goes the thing, and it had a picture there, and the next picture was like a modern haircut over her, and she looked 20 years younger. And it just was a reminder: the reason people look older in the past is the hair. And I think it was cool when you look at a video of here's a high school from 1988, and all these kids look already 40. It's because of the hair. Maddie Gunner says skullet. Skullet is what? That's the shaved on the sides, the back. Yeah, okay. I don't like that. I don't like. That's probably. It's who am I to say? Anyone out there can do what they want with their hair. But I have this, having grown up in the '80s and looking back on the '80s. I'm like, man, I was there, man. Laserbolt probably gets it. Farrah Fawcett wings. That's what I'm talking. Yeah, okay, Farrah Fawcett wings, but not quite the. Laserbolt, the version I'm talking about for the mid 80s, right? Where like you look like a young business woman from the 80s, shoulder pads, like a weird, shiny, shimmery kind of blue dress that looked like a Sunday best, but it was for the office, and then like just the real blown out hair, which at the time, I'm sure they were the top of the pops, right? I'm sure they were trendy and ready to go. But I took that as the bad, watered-down version of the Farrah Fawcett wings. We got perm, skullet, Farrah Fawcett wings. All right, I'm gonna. I have a feeling it could be the skullet. I was gonna think maybe so shaved all the way to the back and then long from the back down, like the Brian Bosworth. I was gonna say rat tail. The rat tail was big when I was in 6th grade. That was the year of the rat tail. I never had a rat tail. I did have quite the relief pitcher mullet. If you look at Dennis Eckersley of the Oakland Athletics, that was the kind of mullet I had. I think he still has that with the mustache. It's a brand thing for him. But my good friend in 6th grade named Jed, never forget Jed. I don't know what Jed's doing now. I don't remember Jed's last name, but I do remember Jed. He had come to the school, for me, elementary school was 1st through 6th grade. I know some, then I went to 7th and 8th grade at a junior high, middle school, and then high school. I know that can change depending on where you are or what kind of school you went. But for me, it's 1st through 6th grade. And Jed showed up like 5th grade. And we all had those kids that showed up a little bit later in school. They weren't the ones you grew up with in 1st grade, kindergarten, anything like that. They were like the ones that their dad got a job in town or mom and dad got divorced and they showed up, they were the late additions to the cast. And Jed showed up in 5th grade. I can't remember where Jed came from, but he had that out-of-town energy, right? And he had a rat tail. And he had an epic rat tail. 4 to 5 inches down, if I'm recalling correctly, A little bit of mullet, but he had that rat tail. And he'd been growing it for a while. It's impressive. So Maddie Gutter says rat tail's a good call. All right, I'm going to click on it here, and we're going to see. We're going to see what we get. Oh, no. It's going to a moment for mullets. It's going to Iron Claw. Oh, God. Yeah, I hate those. Oh, man. Okay. Long renowned and reviled for its business in the front, party in the back reputation, the mullet is actually one of the most timeless and versatile cuts. Is it? It's having a big screen moment thanks to not only the aforementioned biopics, but Paul Messel's character in Golden Globe nominated All of Us Strangers. An Iron Claw, the distinctive mullet showcased by wrestling legends Von Erichs, charismatic David, and his fringe blonde waves, Olympian Carey, he's got tumbling curls, and by the book Kevin, Zac Efron's functional choppy layers. They weren't just a fashion statement of the ring. Oh, God. Every one of these hairstyles is horrendous. Yeah, no, see, this is what I agree with you, Maddie. Maddie Gunner in chat says, mullets have been back for ages. What are you talking about? Yeah, this is horrible. This is a misleading CNN style. Do better. So I haven't seen the movie yet. So the guy from The Bear is Carrie. Of course, we know Chris isn't. They cut Chris out of it. I hate every one of these hairstyles because I was alive when these hairstyles were in. They're horrible. Efron's is the most normal. He looks like he's in a British rock band from the neck up. Efron, of course, graduated from my high school. A little bit after me, though, of course. Man, I don't like this. This is bullshit. That's Bowie's 73 mullet. David McKay says mullets came back during the pandemic when people had to cut their own hair. I believe that. Bring back thrash metal, not mullets. Yeah. Bring back the James Hetfield cut. Kirk Hammett. This long kind of mullet. I do have a book somewhere. It might be in storage. I have a book about mullets from like the 90s. Back when we already were making fun of the mullets. Like Bono's mullet and everything like that. But see, Jeremy Allen White, that's his name. I don't count that quite as a mullet. But if we go up to the top here, let me scroll back up. Do we count that as a mullet? Again, mullets have a lot of different definitions. But I don't even think you can call. It's almost Farrah Fawcett wings to me. Because I know it's short up here. I get it. It's short up here. But it's, to me, a mullet, you cut out this side. If the ear flap was gone, this is riveting content, by the way. If the ear flap was gone, then I count that as a mullet. Efron's, again, yeah, Matty Gunner says, looks like a Gallagher brother. Same thing. Is it shorter in the front, longer in the back? Yeah. But it's the ear flap. David McKay agrees. Like, this is more of a mullet on the announcer guy. Who is that supposed to be? It's not supposed to be like Jim Ross or anything, right? Ross wasn't in World Class, I don't think, at that time. Too long decides to be a mullet. Thank you. We've got, see, this is what's going to happen. The history of the mullet is going to get watered down. All right, that's more of a mullet. This is Paul Barris, the character played by Tahar Rahim and Napoleon. That's more of a mullet than what we got going on Iron Claw. And then Bowie absolutely rocked a mullet. This is not unlike the Bono mullet about 10 years later. But you see, and he's even got the 70s, the feather going there. But see how long and straight it is from back and the size difference? I think you need a size difference between the sides and the back. I don't think you can have, I mean, that's more of the skullet here that they're showing Ben Franklin. That's a different thing. Yeah, the definition of the mullet, we can't have this loose definition of the mullet. That's my statement for today's show. There's Iran and Pakistan going at each other. There's the horror of Uvalde being analyzed. But today's topic is, and we're all being crushed financially, but today's topic is the mullet. Can we get this day in history on mullets? I think I'll work on that. Their definition of mullet is fishy. Thank you, David McKay. I was there, man. Like I said, this announcer guy here, who's he supposed to be? I got to watch this movie. Back in the early 2000s, sparked possibly Mark, the mullet, the hairstyle of gods. Let's click on this. What is this? This is the book I have. Okay, this book came out in 2000. This is the book I have. The mullet, the hairstyle of the gods. Oh my God, what a flashback. Get this book. Laserbolt says the purity of the mullet is at stake. Laserbolt, I'm going to guess you had a epic mullet at one point in like 82. This is the book, Mullet, Hairstyle of the Gods by Mark Lawson and Barney Hoskins. I have this book. It says it came out in January 2000. I remember moving to L.A. with this book in 1998, but time has a way of absolutely lying to you. That's insane. Okay, that's a flash for that's the book I was talking about. That book defines it more. But oh, see, look at this. God, David McKay, you're smart. The DIY renditions necessitated during the pandemic lockdown drove another spike, which remains ongoing. Fashion historian Jessica Glasscock, we can change that, dates the recent fashion mullet resurgence back to the early 2000s, sparked possibly by Mark Lawson's book, tome, The Mullet Hairstyle of the Gods. And 82, I look like Tony Stark's dad, says Laser Bolt. Billy Ray Cyrus is Exhibit A of how a mullet should look, says Matty Gunner. That's, yeah, again, and this, yeah, so that book, check out that book. I'm telling you, get your hands on that book. Mullet, Hairstyle of the Gods. It the hockey mullet, the relief, that's where I got the term, the relief pitcher mullet, which is essentially Dennis Eckersley. And that's why I go back to this announcer right here. This announcer, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see it, is more of a mullet than what's going on in the rest of the stuff here. It's all about the ear flap. We're going to settle this. If you're watching later, in comments, number one, if you can, share a picture of you at 82, if you're of age. And let's debate the mullet. I'm open to interpretations. I'm open to different styles of the mullet. But I think the purity of the mullet, as Laserbolt says, is at stake here. I think we as a society have to rally around this and do better with how we define mullets. Brian Tiller's here. Now, I know Brian Tiller doesn't have a mullet now. I can start over, Brian. Here, I'll start over, Brian. Iran and Pakistan are fighting, and it might end the world. The horrors of Uvalde are being discussed after a DOJ report, and I just can't go into it today. I'm getting offered credit cards, and I might have accidentally revealed my exact location on this world by showing a credit card offer on the screen. And I'm being crushed by debt, but it's a cycle they locked us into. But more importantly, Brian, we're debating the integrity and the purity of the mullet, because this article on CNN says the mullet's coming back, but we think it's already been back. The emo mullet, yeah, Matty Gunner's right. The emo mullet from the 2006-7 range. And I don't think, Brian, I'll catch you up. I wanted you to get on this one, Brian, because I know your hairstyle now. It's slick. But I think at one point in your life, Brian, you probably had a mullet too. A skateboard punk mullet. And I don't think the mullets they're showing here, they're saying the Iron Claw has a lot to do with the mullet resurgence right now. And I think Bull Roar. None of these are mullets except for the announcer has more of a mullet than any of them here. That's the recap, Brian. And as someone who lived through the 80s. See, Brian Tiller says, I may or may not have had a Bono mullet. All right, we're going to type that. We're going to bring that up. Let's do this. Bono mullet. Live Aid is when he had the big one. There you go. There you go. Give me the big picture. They're small photos. No, we need something big. We need something big if we're going. We're going back into Twitter. That'll work. That's a mullet. Because one of the other things about, and I want you veterans, you mullet veterans to chime in here, is, to me, part of what makes a mullet is it looks like two hairstyles in one. It looks like you have literally clipped together two different hairstyles from two different heads and put it into one. Brian Tiller says, not as much girth, but I tried. Hey, you know what, Brian? We all struggle with girth. Don't worry about it. But I think that is, look at that. That Bono mullet is, to me, might be the Hall of Fame mullet. And it looks like a scientist engineered a Frankenstein monster. I know the doctor was Frankenstein. A Frankenstein monster of hair is what I describe it as. What do you think? We're debating mullets. This is what 20 minutes of coffee is. It's not always serious. It's deadly serious. Let's get out of here. Hey, while I'm here, I'll promo some things. Speaking of mullets, there's Brian Tiller and his Bono mullet. Available now as Broken Pieces of What Remains on Spotify, Bandcamp if you want to support us directly, Amazon Music, Apple. We appreciate the support we've gotten so far. But hey, continue to support. Just continue to listen. All I'm saying, go to Spotify, type in the Moon Agers. choose one of the songs, put it on repeat, mute your Spotify so you don't have to hear it 200 times, and just leave it playing all day. That's all I'm saying. Help some people out. Maddie Gunner's talking in live chat. Rod Stewart had a mean mullet. Patrick Swayze too. Indeed. Hall of Fame mullets. Thank you to those who watched and supported my Taylor Swift video over at Anytime. It's available over there. It's about an 11-minute YouTube essay on my thoughts on the hubbub, the hoopla, and the sexist scorn around Taylor Swift watching NFL games. It's over there. And a new episode of Anytime tomorrow. Our topic's going to be about when politics change relationships is where we're going with that. All right. It's all right. Laserbolt's got the Joe Dirt. Well, he doesn't have the Joe Dirt, but you want it. This has been a wonderful conversation. If you're watching later, and I hope you do, thanks to those who watched the episode on Tuesday and made it one of the most rewatched episodes of 20 Minutes of Coffee yet. I appreciate that. That is very much appreciated. So thank you. But if you're watching later, join the mullet debate. I'm up for, I do not think there is one mullet. I do think it is a genre. And there's different degrees. So that's not my argument. I'm just saying there are some certain rules that make things a mullet. And I'm seeing some of those rules broken. That's it. Bye.